What's going on, everyone? Bobbybarks here, and welcome back to a new FM24 series where I'll be playing as Crystal Palace and I'll be doing the English only challenge. That's right, I did this last year on FM23 with Chelsea and I found it a little bit easier than I expected to. So this year on FM24 we're going to do it as Crystal Palace. I think doing it as Crystal Palace will present more of a challenge than what Chelsea was last year. They're a lower reputable club in England and in the Premier League, and as such it's going to be difficult to attract some of the better English players. We're going to have to mould a team here to try and challenge on all fronts, and I'm really excited to get going. So this is me being appointed. Let's have a look at the squad to start with. So this is the squad sorted by nationality. And we've got Matthias Franca and Jefferson Lerma at the top there. I think they're both new additions to the Crystal Palace squad, so it's going to be difficult to move those on straight away. Joachim Anderson, or Joachim Anderson, however you pronounce it, he's wanted and he's worth quite a bit of money, so it'd be good to get some money in the kitty by moving him on. Then we've got a raft of English players who are probably going to play some part in this season. So we've got James Tompkins, Joel Ward, Nathaniel Klein, Sam Johnston, who are all pretty much squad players, I'd say. Maybe Joel Ward and James Tompkins will play a little bit more frequently. Sam Johnston's definitely the backup keeper. Mark Gahey at centre-back and Tyreek Mitchell at left-back are definitely going to be first choice. Remy Matthews is listed, but he's probably going to be the third choice goalkeeper. And then we've got Will Hughes and Rob Holding, who'll definitely play a part, regular starts this season. And then we've got Dean Henderson, who's the #1 goalkeeper. Ebery Etse, who is an extremely good centre midfielder. And then we've got Michael Elise, that says he's French down there, but I think he's dual nationality. And he's not had a cap for either France or England yet. So there's a chance he could choose to play for England and that nationality could change, but that's just one to keep an eye on there. And then the rest of the squad beneath there are all pretty much non-English, so they'll all get moved on at some point. It's going to be very difficult to do that in season 1, but I'm hoping by the time we get to the end of this season and we've done the summer transfer window, we've got a pretty much all English squad. There might be one or two that we can't shift or can't move on, that'll either be in the reserves or will get loaned out or something like that. But this is what happened with the Chelsea save. It's difficult to move everyone on and replace them with English players straight away, but we'll do as best to do it as quickly as possible, and hopefully going into season 2, like I say, we'll have that all English squad. What about the staff? Well, at the minute, on the coaching side, most of them are English. There's a couple of Irish in Dean Keeley and Paddy McCarthy. We'll move those two on. The thing with the staff is we can pretty much do it straight away. So we can move on all the non-English ones and all the ones we don't want, irrespective of whether they're English or not, if they don't meet the quality that we want for Crystal Palace, because, let's be honest, that's pretty abysmal in terms of scouting and coaching, in terms of the level that we need to get at. So we'll be replacing a lot of those and bringing in coaching and scouting staff that are a lot better standard, and will help us achieve what we need to achieve. So what I'll do now is I'll jump to the end of this summer transfer window and we'll have a look at what business we've been able to do. So here we are, and looking at the transfers in, I've highlighted Joe Geldhart because that's the first one we brought in. So everyone above him were already transferred in, which was real life transfers at the start of the game. So Dean Henderson and Rob Holding came in real life at the start of this season, as did all the others. So it's only from Joe Geldhart down that we've made the transfers, who are all English. Geldhart's a striker, Adam Wharton is a centre midfielder, Charlie Cresswell is a centre-back, Samuel Illing is a left winger that we managed to get on loan from Juventus, Jacob Murphy is a winger from Newcastle that we managed to get in on loan, Kieran Dewsbury Hall is a centre midfielder from Leicester, and Kyle Walker-Peters can play either fullback that we've brought in from Southampton. So we have spent a fair bit. We've spent 111 million, although granted 35 of that ish was done before we took over. We've managed to bring in 34 million of transfers, which was predominantly Joachim Anderson, however you pronounce it. And get up there you go. So he went for 22 million to Paris Saint-Germain. And Jean-Philippe Mateta has gone to West Ham for 8.5 million. Jordan Ayew's gone to Bournemouth for 2.6 million. And then the rest are pretty much all reserve team players that have gone out for minimal fees. Okay, this is the squad now that we have made the transfers. We're able to put out a first choice 11 of all English, which is pretty good considering. So we've got Dean Henderson goal, Kyle Walker-Peters will play right back, Rob Holding and Mark Gahey will play centre backs, Tyreek Mitchell at left back, Adam Wharton will play defensive midfield. We've got Kieran Dewsbury-Hall and Ebery Eze in centre midfield. We've got the two loanees playing down the wing and Joe Geldert up front. So yeah, pretty good that we can put a first choice English 11 out. So we'll see how we get on between now and the end of the January transfer window. Then I'll bring you back in there and we'll have a look what we've done in the league and whether we've done any transfers in the January transfer window. And in the first game after the summer transfer window, we hosted Aston Villa, and we didn't get off to the best of start. Samuel Illing going off injured before Douglas Lewis put Diaby through, who put a neat little finish past Henderson. And then a couple of minutes later, Digny's corner found Conser, who made it 2-0. We conceded 2 goals in stoppage time of the first half, with no reply in the second half. Straight after the loss to Villa, we were away at Anfield, but Illing was back and he coasted past Alexander-Arnold before playing it back to Mitchell, whose shot was blocked. However, it fell to Ebery Eze, who made it 1-0 to us. The lead didn't last long though, as Eze gave the ball away in the middle of the park to Schlosserby, who, with a neat little 1-2, went through on goal and made it 1-1. Just 12 minutes later, and Schlosserby was on the assist end this time, putting it through to Darwin Núñez, who rose above everybody and headed it across goal past Henderson, making it 2-1 to Liverpool. There were no more goals in the game, but Joe Geldhart had a 2-footed challenge on Schlosserby and saw a straight red. But we got his first win of the season at home to Brentford. Eze cutting in and a deflected shot saw the ball creep in, giving us a 1-0 lead after 20 minutes. Dewsbury Hall's ball across and Gahey rose above everybody to make it 2-0. Mitchell then driving forward, finding Illing, who made his trademark run, putting the ball across for Edouard to make it 3-0 by half-time. Brentford managed to claw a goal back just 10 minutes into the second half when Wissa was released through, who played the ball across for Sade to make it 3-1. However, the game was dead and buried when Mitchell and Illing combined down the left-hand side to play the ball across to Edouard, who turned and put it in to make it 4-1. The win against Brentford sparked a little mini revival with an away draw at Manchester City, followed by a home draw at Arsenal, and then 4 wins on the bounce: away at Wolves, a home to Chelsea, away to Sheffield United and at home to Everton. An away draw to Nottingham Forest, before the first defeat in a while came at home to Manchester United. Following the defeat to Manchester United, we went on an 11-game unbeaten run, drawing 2 and winning 9, albeit 2 of them were in the FA Cup, with revenge pretty sweet against Aston Villa. So in terms of players out, we've managed to move Ahmada on. He's gone to Bordeaux for up to 13.5 million. Jeffrey Schlupp has left for $1 million. Caden Rodney's gone out. Chris Richards has gone to Newcastle for up to 33 million. And then a couple more reserve players have moved on. In terms of bringing players in, Dwight McNeil has come in from Everton for 14 million. He's a permanent transfer, so he can help out with those loanees that we've got down the wings. And we brought Dele Alli in on a free. He was released by Everton just after the January transfer window closed, and I thought, you know what, let's just bring him in and have a little look at him. So that is it for transfers in and out in the January transfer window. So this is how the tactic is lining up at the minute, and it's not looking too bad. We've still got pretty much the same starting 11 as what I showed you earlier in the video, but the squad now, certainly the bench, is nearly all English. Just one or two, I think there's only Edouard there at the minute who is foreign on the bench, and then there's a couple more further down just in the squad that we need to move on. But it is coming together, we are nearly there. And we're not doing too bad in the league, we're actually 6th, which is pretty impressive. We're 6 points behind Arsenal. Don't think we're going to reach the Champions League, but if we can qualify for the Europa League or even the Conference League, I think that will be a massive, massive achievement for us. In terms of defeats, we've lost to Liverpool, Manchester United, Liverpool again, and then home defeats to Aston Villa and Bournemouth, which was a bit unlucky. And then we've had quite a number of draws against biggish teams. Notts Forest was a difficult result to swallow, and then draws away at Fulham and Tottenham. Some good wins though. We beat Tottenham at home. We've beaten Chelsea at home, which was a good win for us. So we've done okay. But how did we get on for the rest of the season? February was a little bit hit and miss for us, and it started with a home defeat against Liverpool and a 1-1 draw away at rivals Brentford. When it came to travelling to the Emirates, I didn't hold out much hope, but Illing Jr. got the ball down the left-hand side and made an absolutely mazy run down the wing. Nice little 1-2, and then just inside the box, put a neat little finish past Ramsdale. It was the only goal of the game, and we took all 3 points from Arsenal. His next game was at home to Manchester City, which, again, I didn't really hold out much hope, but after it was 0-0 at the break, Manchester City broke the deadlock with an Erling Haaland header on 62 minutes. But just 2 minutes later, we were back in the game, and Dewsbury Hall fired it across Ederson into the bottom corner and made it 1-1. And on 71 minutes, Jacob Murphy got past Gvardiol and toe-poked it past Ederson to give us a 2-1 lead. But this Manchester City side are one of the best in the world, and when the ball found Erling Haaland in the box, he scored yet again. However, we got a point out of the game, as it finished 2-2. We crashed out of the FA Cup to Liverpool with another 3-1 defeat against the Reds. It looked like we were getting back into the swing of things in early March though, when Wolves came to town, Illing Jr. finding Geldhart and had given us a 1-0 lead. Wolves got a goal back against the run of play, but we were completely dominant, particularly in possession, knocking the ball around for fun, and when Eze got the ball from 25 yards out, he smashed it low past Bentley to put us back in the lead. And straight after half-time we scored our third, with Dewsbury Hall smashing it from 30 yards out into the roof of the net. And it was 4-1 on 65 minutes when Doucouré gave us that 3-goal lead once more. That's how it finished, with Samuel Illing being absolutely brilliant throughout. We were sent crashing back down to earth though when Chelsea beat us 6-1. But 2 1-0 home victories either side of a draw in Merseyside look to be getting us back on track. But Fergie time is back at Old Trafford when Manchester United beat us 3-2 with a 95th minute winner. That proved to be the last defeat of the season though, with the remaining 5 games we picked up 3 victories and 2 draws. Well, we stayed in 6th place, we didn't move up or down, but we've had an exceptional run and we've qualified for the Conference League, which I'm really pleased about. We didn't have anyone in the top rankings. Dominic Calvert-Lewin was the top scorer in the league with 25. Bear in mind he's English, so that might be something that we look at. Erling Haaland only 24 and Nkunku 21. And Nkunku also got the top average rating of 7.57, and Odegaard got 12 assists. Ward-Prowse, another Englishman, with also 12 assists. Clean sheets, no Englishman in there, none of them in the player of the matches, and yellow cards we're not that fussed about. But yeah, it was a decent achievement finishing 6th, really pleased. Manchester United winning the league, by the way. In terms of average ratings, Ebery Eze were our best player of the season. 16 goals and 7 assists in 39 games, which was pretty good for a centre midfielder. Adam Wharton got off to a good start, good first season for him with us, playing in that DM role. Samuel Illing did really well on loan, but we're not going to be able to keep him, unfortunately. He's going to go back to Juventus. Rob Holding had an exceptional season. I was a bit like that with Rob Holding. I knew I'm going to have to play him this season, but I was considering whether I needed to bring in somebody else to replace him. Not quite sure he was up to the standard that we'd want, but he's been absolutely fantastic. Geldart's got off to a good season, only scored 13 goals in 38 games, but he's done alright for a young English player stepping up into the Premier League. He's done pretty well for us. Gahey, the centre-back there as well, and Dwight McNeil, who we brought in for 14 million. Didn't make a start in the Premier League, but had a number of substitute appearances. But obviously with Illing moving back to Juventus, McNeil's probably going to become the starting left winger. Henderson did okay as well. And then we've had some other players down there. Jacob Murphy, Tyreek Mitchell, Michael Elise, all doing really well. So overall, it's been a good first season. Really impressed with how we've moved on. It's going to be an interesting off-season. I think the end of the first season and the start of the second season is where the team's really going to take shape. So be sure to come back for episode 2 and check out what we've done. Thanks for watching, and bye for now.